Hello, everyone. In this episode, we are going to be looking at what the Bible means when it talks about slavery. Remember, this channel always looks at what the Bible means, hence why this channel is called What the Bible Means. And we are going to be talking about what the Bible means when it talks about slavery. There seems to be a lot of confusion in the Bible about slavery and that God allows slavery. Many people, when they hear a certain word, such as slavery, they instantly think of how slavery was back in the 17th, 18th, 19th century. You know, people being whipped and beaten and tortured for their race and color. And many people see that the Israelites, or not see, but they read about the Israelites and they read that Israelites did have slaves. So many people automatically think God endorses slavery, that he is for it, and they think it's the same type of slavery that people did throughout the years, which slavery ended in America in 1865 and ended in England, I believe, in 1807. But when people hear about slavery in the Bible, they automatically think it's that type of slavery. So let's talk about the slavery that's in the Bible. Now, there are two types of slavery that is in the Bible. First, let's start with the type that the Israelites did, which is known as voluntary slavery. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Voluntary slavery? Why would anyone volunteer to make themselves a slave? Well, that's what we are going to be looking at and seeing what exactly it is. Voluntary slavery arises when a person becomes so poor that they cannot make a living, cannot provide for themselves, and sell themselves into a relationship with a person who has money and can provide for the poor person. The Hebrew word for this is Abed, meaning servant or bondman. The Bible describes Israel as the Lord's bondservant or slave, the same word Abed. Now, if you turn to Leviticus 25, chapter 25, verse 39 through 40, it says, "If any Israelites living near you become so poor that they sell themselves to you as a slave, you shall not make them do the work of a slave. They shall stay with you as hired workers and serve you until the next year of restoration." The issue of poverty was one of the reasons that people sold themselves as servants. There were also provisions for freedom. They could be bought back by a relative or by their own money. Working for someone else did not mean that they received nothing. By their own money meant a certain freedom to gain money and buy their own freedom. Now, some may turn to Leviticus chapter 25, verse 44 through 46, which I know many are seeing this verse and thinking or about to put in the comments, "See, the Lord does condone slavery." Not true. We have no reason to believe that the same was not true for the foreigners in the land. This verse says, "Purchase the children of such resident foreigners, including those who have been born in your land." The rights are spelled out for the Hebrews, but they would also apply to the foreigners who were welcomed into the land. The people were commanded, "Do not mistreat or oppress a foreigner." Remember that you were foreigners in Egypt. Do not mistreat any widow or orphan. This could be found. Could be found in Exodus chapter 22, verse 21 through 22. And if you turn to Leviticus chapter 25, verse 47 through 55, it says, "Suppose a foreigner living with you becomes rich, while some Israelites become poor and sell themselves as slaves to that foreigner or to a member of that foreigner's family. After they are sold, they still have the right to be bought back. A brother or an uncle or a cousin or another close relative may buy them back, or if they themselves earn enough, they may buy their own freedom. They must consult the one who bought them and they must count the years from the time they sold themselves until the next year of restoration, and must set the price for their release on the basis of wages paid hired workers. They must refund a part of the purchase price according to the number of years left, as if they had begun hired on an annual basis. Their master must not treat them harshly. If they are not set free in any of these ways, they and their children must be set free in the next year of restoration. Israelites cannot be permanent slaves because the people of Israel are the Lord's slaves. He bought them out of Egypt. He is the Lord their God. If you're still doubting and think God is for slavery, then turn to Exodus chapter 21 verse 16. Whoever kidnaps someone, either to sell him or to keep him as a slave, is to be put to death. We see right here in Exodus, the Old Testament, God is against kidnapping and selling people as slaves, which means he is not for it. And if you turn to the New Testament, to Galatians chapter 3, verse 28, it says, "There is neither Jew nor Greek, there is neither slave nor free, there is neither male nor female, for all of you are one in Christ Jesus." So it is perfectly clear that God condemns forced slavery, but condones voluntary slavery for a period of time because of poverty, unless the slaves do not want to be freed, which can be found in Exodus chapter 21 verse 5. So next time someone gets in a debate with you telling you God was for slavery, tell them what you heard here. Thank you, and God bless.